The news that we were coming to Texas didn't happen overnight. It kind of was gradual. We heard rumors, looked like there might be a possibility that it would happen. So when it was finally announced, it wasn't a shock.
It was like getting traded. Everybody got traded together to Texas, so here we go. And, we're going to make the best of this here and, see how it goes.
I was born in New England, lived in New England, and Washington was close enough to where my family and my friends could go back and forth if they wanted to. And so playing in Washington and being there for a long time really appealed to me. So I wasn't excited about the prospects of coming to Texas right off the bat. But it didn't take long to realize what a great move this was.
Well, what do you think about the move?
I think it's terrific. I really do. It's going to bring more people to Dallas and keep young people here.
Jerry, I think it would be a boost economically for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't know whether at first the people in Dallas will support them the way they should be supported, but all in all, I think it would be very good for them. I think it's excellent. I think anytime that you have sports in any area, it helps all sports. And I think I'm delighted for the people who have worked so hard to bring it to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And some youngsters are coming out on the field. This will not be a complete game unless they get back. So we certainly hope that this ball game can be concluded. The players now are clearing the field as pandemonium is broken loose and the field is filled with many souvenir hunters.
That last ball game, when the fans started coming out on the field, I had to take off running to go back in the dugout. Somebody grabbed my hat, and I was afraid they were going to take the rest of my uniform. So I remember running back in the dugout. It was crazy, that last ball game. Wow. But I was excited about coming here to Texas. New team, and it was going to be a lot of fun.
I remember Tom coming in. Our council was having a work session, I guess eating a meal. And he came in and said, told us the Washington Senators are coming and we've got to add 10,000 seats to the stadium before the next season. And our jaws dropped.
It was a construction miracle. I still don't know this. The announcement came probably October of '71. They had to start then, and I mean, you're talking about all the concrete work, expanding down to the foul lines on both sides. And then, now the outfield was metal, steel metal, but still, just getting that thing wrapped all the way around. I don't know who was in charge of that. And I never asked, but I should have, because that's a construction miracle.
Vandegrift thought when that's just the way things were done when he was mayor. He didn't realize, how fortunate that, and this was after the drought. We didn't lose one day of construction due to weather.
Most of the players seem to like the idea of coming to Texas. Boy, that's a new adventure. And they get here, and what they were playing in Washington was, it was messy, but it had the look of a major league ballpark. I think they took a look here. Well, I know they did. I think they're a little shaky.
When we first got to Arlington, Rich Billings was my roommate, and he got us an apartment in Dallas. Dallas obviously is a big city where you would expect to see a major league ballpark. And the first thing that hit me when I drove into Arlington and got off, back then it was the Turnpike, and came to the stadium was, how in the world can there be a big league ballpark in this city? There are pine trees along here. There were no restaurants next to the ballpark. It was like a pine forest and a narrow street that came into the ballpark. And we're thinking, this is a major league team. How did they do it?
It was a very slow town. Very, very. I mean, there wasn't. I don't know if there was because it's so spread out to begin with. But it seems like when you go down Collins Avenue, you know, it's a town of like 25,000 people. You know, I was single at the time, and I was just trying to find some girl that would date me. And there's only, I think, 3 or 4 single girls in the whole town.
And then, of course, we had a labor situation. Players walk out. So it wasn't that bad. It was about 2 weeks late, that 72 season in starting.
Whatever we were able to do at the stadium, we couldn't do anyway because it wasn't open. So, you know, there was probably 10 or 15 guys here, and we had to work out somewhere. We wanted to stay in shape. We went over to a ballpark in the middle of Arlington called Randall Mill Park, where they played Little League games, soccer games, you name it.
Fred Baxter was our equipment manager, and one day when we were at that park working out, a pickup truck drove by, and a bunch of balls and bats flew out of the back of the truck, and Fred was waving and drove on, because he wasn't supposed to do that, of course. But we got by, you know, we got it done.
My memory of Randall Mill Park will always be, it was my turn to throw batting practice, and Frank Howard was the guy that was going to hit. We had no screen, so I looked around, and the only thing I could see was a green trash can. So I placed the green trash can in front of me, and I had to throw the ball quick and duck down behind the trash can. We improvised, we got the workout in, but there wasn't anything major league about it.
Vandergrift's only son used to be a bat boy, and daughter Vanessa sang the national anthem on opening day back in 1972.
I was nervous about it, but I don't remember being overly nervous, but I was nervous. But we went down on the field, and I had practiced with the band, but the delay, the sound delay in those days, of course, was much worse than now. Much worse. And they told me then, and we had never practiced on the field, so they said, make sure that you just watch the director, watch the band director, don't listen, you know. And that was so hard to do, because that was the first thing I'd ever sung in a stadium like that. And I think it went okay.
The sensation then is something I'll never forget, because it reached the end of a 13-year effort to bring Major League Baseball to this Dallas-Fort Worth region of ours, and so we couldn't help but be overjoyed that night when it finally came to pass.
Opening day for us that first year was kind of a relief. I mean, it had been our life to travel around with him in one form or another, packs or individually, over a decade of, you know, it was our childhood. And to now have a home that, you know, the mission accomplished, I guess, that was, so part of the feeling was maybe unique in being a relief. The other part was the pageantry of it. Frank Howard hitting a home run.
Home run first inning. And you're going, the baseball gods are shining on Arlington, Texas.
That's like a storybook script, and we won the game, and that night they were magical. They won the game. The crowd was lively. To see him on the field, to see real life players out there, it was just an amazing experience.
I mean, he was just ecstatic. He just was. I mean, it just, you know, it touches me even now to think of that. And I think even as a young teenager, you know, I was happy about that. I was excited about that.
I was thrilled watching that opening day from the press box, because I was, you know, waited like everybody else. Above it all, it was kind of, you could look south and go, to hell with you, Judge Roy Hoffines. You have lost. You have lost because you tried to stop Major League Baseball here, and you did it. You did it for a decade, but now you have failed.